And we're back on the air. Welcome back. This is the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra on GJRB Online, and we have returned. As I said earlier, like I said, a lot of the programs are going to stay on the air here on GJRB. It's just what I'm going to have to do is sit down and retweak my schedule. I'm going to have to sit down and say what I have time for and what I don't. Now, Swing Time, which is the other big band show I do, that's going to be spontaneous too. That could be whatever day I plan to do it. Like I said, I got too many shows for a month. Too many. So I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to make these programs fit. And I mean getting rid of some excess programs that I just can't air anymore because I just don't have the time for. And the music show, the oldie shows, the rock and roll oldie show will continue. We're going to have that on next week. That's going to be the Good Times Great Oldies show next weekend. 50s, 60s, 70s rock and roll. And that's going to be on there next weekend. Golden Weekend, and I'm going to continue with next Saturday with the top 10 hits of the top 20 hits from that next week in 1972. So I was going to do the week ending, March 17th. It's going to be probably that following week. So if I were to look on that, it will probably be that following week, 1972. So I have to look at that later on. I'll tell you what it is. Right now, though, I think it's time to take a look at our weather on the fives. What do you think? Sounds good to me. How about that? We'll do weather on the fives. Let's take a look at what we got here. Weather on the fives here on GJRB Online. Take a look at some national temperatures. San Francisco, California, checking in with 54 degrees under sunny skies. Manhattan, mostly cloudy. Atlanta, Georgia, looking at 49 degrees under partly cloudy skies. 37 degrees and partly cloudy. Boston, Massachusetts, 48 and partly cloudy. But it's kind of windy there in Boston. Expecting a wind. 48 degrees, partly cloudy, but it's going to be windy in Boston. And we'll take a look at the full national weather. We're going to visit our friends at the Weather Nation coming up next hour. We usually do that. I will go into Weather Nation and replay that. It's always interesting. They kind of give you their synopsis of what the weather is going to be over the next couple of weeks so we'll do that. And I'll give you the rundown of that. Mainly the national weather for the Midwest and some of those areas. So we're going to talk about some of the flooding going on. So watch for that. Let's take a look at St. Mary, France. So we're going to do some foreign temperatures. 58 degrees there, fair. Munich, Germany is reporting in 58 degrees under sunny skies. Weather on the fives, 25 and 55 past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all shows now. Moving it back on the music shows. Headed on 25-45 for music, 25-55 for talk, but I decided to do it this way. I decided to have it on weather on the fives on all shows because it makes more sense to just keep it at 25 and 55 on all shows. Don't want to confuse my audience, whatever audience I have. So I make it so that the weather is always at the same time every hour. It just makes a whole lot of sense. And let's see what we got coming up here now. It's getting close to the top of the hour here on GJRB Online. Coming up in this next hour, hopefully, we should be hearing from Ben, and we'll have him on. I have a couple of other things I want to do. We'll do the scroll through social media and take a look at some news around the social sites. And we'll visit other things going on too as well. So I hope you'll stay with me throughout the afternoon. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. And we'll do that. And I will give you the what countdown we're going to do from what in 1972, what week, and I'll narrow that down and do the research on it and it's going to be fun next week. The Good Times, Great Oldies Show. 50s, 60s, 70s, rock and roll. We'll take a request. That'll be on Friday. The Friday edition is just an open request show. Play a lot of all the real good oldies, and I dug up some more, and I'll put them on for the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So tune in for a good show next weekend, starting Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central, tentatively, right here on GJRB Online for the Good Times, Great Oldies Show, right here on GJRB Online. So it's always good. And that all goes with the oldies station I have here locally on my 9-foot signal at 107.5. That's oldies 107.5 KCLG. So all the good oldies, 50s, 60s, 70s, rock and roll next week. Should be a lot of fun. You'll want to check that out. And also coming up later on toward the end of the hour, at the end of this program, we'll have our regular What's on Spreaker. And we got that coming up. And then you'll check that out. What's on Spreaker coming up? So tune in for that here on GJRB Online. Let's see. We got to no tone this hour because I have to recalculate. I got to get that back up. So without that in mind, it's 4 o'clock Central Time right now, 5 o'clock in the East, and it's 2 o'clock Pacific Time. You're listening to GJRB. I'm Gary J. Russen. This is the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, here on GJRB Online. Yep, that's where we got it, yeah. And a little past 4 o'clock right now, so I thought we'll just start the new hour and do the scroll through social media. I think we'll do that now. I'm going to pop that in and see what's up here. I'm going to go to the segment where I have that. That's under the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. By the way, speaking of the best of the Gary Russen program, that's another show that I would like to keep. I'm going to try the best I can. That's one of those shows that's kind of really kind of tight. That show's got a lot of high content. So I don't know whether or not that show's going to continue. All it is a retro of the past couple of shows, and I really don't have time for that one for sure. So I think the best of the Gary Russen program is going to go away for a while because I just don't have time for that program. That show is definitely going to get canceled for a little while. I might bring it back later on down the line when I maybe have more time to produce it, but for right now, that program just is not working. That is one program I know is not working. So we're going to pull that program off. That's the best of the Gary Russen program is definitely going to go off the air for a while because I just don't have time to produce that one. Right now, let's do the real. Alrighty then, you got Gary J. Russen here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, doing a scroll through social media. That's where we go through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the social sites along the internet, and pull up some news and what you, my followers, are posting on the internet. So we're going to do that right now and see what's happening across the internet. We'll visit Facebook and Twitter and all that, and give it to you. See what's interesting going on aboard here. So we're going to start off with some interesting news here and see what's happening. I don't want to turn that down. Okay, we need to turn that down. Where is that? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to. Okay, why is it I can't turn down my audio volume? All I get is my other volume. Okay, whatever the case, I'm just going to have to do is whatever videos, I just have to ignore it. I think it would be a lot better if I go on my Facebook on here. It would make a lot more sense. So I want to save some battery power for other things I want to do on the tablet. So I'm going to do the Facebook on here, and so let's do that. I'm going to put Facebook on here. So we're going to roll that in. And take a look at what we got here. First off, we got 7 messages on our message board. 7 notifications. So just wanted to see if there's anything of interest that we can see what's posted on here, and really narrow it down to I need to whittle some of my notifications down too, because sometimes this thing has a tendency to get stuck in my notifications don't go up. Just got a few notifications, some interesting ones, and got Mike Myers' program this morning, which I'll probably listen to later. Okay, so I'm going to go down the line a bit here and go down here. Anti-terrorist officials assisted. This is from CBN News. This is a posting right now. Anti-terrorism officials assisted by local police raided two Baptist houses, church in Taraz, Kazakhstan, during a worship service on February 10th and 17th. And the they put a lot of fining on worshipers conducting prayers without government permission. Interesting. That is some foreign country there where they don't allow this. They did that. Other thing goes CBN News. Let's see what other ones we have here. I'm going to go down the page a little bit. Three Stooges television pilot. I'd like to see that. That was interesting. Oh, that's neat. Okay, I'm going to go further on down the line. Just looking for some news headlines, mostly. Opening day for our Lumber Kings is just about 3 weeks away. Procol Harum, Conquistador, great piece of music. Let's see. What else do we have here? Further on down the line here. NBC Week, 1968 promos for Premieres Week. Ooh, that'd be a good one. Old NBC promo, circa 68. Keep hold of that for that one for a future radio, television, and movie classics. Absolutely fabulous. So we'll do that one. Some old network promos from Premiere Week 1968. So I'm going to hold on to that one. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. U.S. Postal Service unveiled some spooky silhouette stamps for Halloween 2019. Boy, they're starting early with that, aren't they? Jeez. Further down the line, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Great Airplane Strike. Forgotten 45, released September 1966, shortly after Air Workers Strike in July. The LP, The Spirit of 67, also produced two additional singles, Hungry and Good Thing. So what was that? Paul Revere and the Raiders. I didn't know they had another. I'll have to listen to that later. Okay. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Fortunate Son. Good stuff. Further on down the line, let's see what we got. Anything new? Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Okay, a good one. Okay, let's see. Not too much on here. Oh, here we go. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Posted by my friend Brian Harrison. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or Ocho Stigos, mocks God. And I heard this yesterday I heard this, saying, she pretty much asked the question, what good does prayer do, apparently. This woman is something else. I gotta tell you, I just can't figure her out. No how. Again, this is a blazing liberal young person who doesn't know what she's talking about half the time, and she talks out of her skull. Whatever she does, I don't know, but she is something else. Hey, Caramel Conservative has joined us in the chat room. Hi, brother. Thank you for joining me, Caramel Conservative, Ed Delgado. Yeah, did you hear about that one? Ocho Stigos Cortez says that she's mocking God. Yep, she's mocking God. What good is your thoughts and prayers when they don't even keep the pews safe? This is from, this is what it is, okay? The story about the violence at the Christchurch, New Zealand, and now, unfortunately, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is, again, she's just mocking God. She said, We'll see below responses to the mass shooting which happened. And she posed this question to Twitter: what good are your thoughts and prayers when you don't even keep the pews safe? Conservatives are obviously her intended target here, and a statement implied that either God won't listen to our prayers and stop these attacks, or that he simply can't do it because he lacks the power to do so. This, again, comes from the mind of someone who obviously doesn't have a mind to begin with, and she definitely, it says, yeah, she got blasted on social media. What a moron. Definitely. I mean, this statement comes from someone who obviously doesn't have a grasp and understanding of anything. And this is the same woman who wants power. Okay? This is the same woman who wants power. And she just amazes me that she even... Anyway, the story goes on that conservatives are obviously her intended target here, and either way, her statement is a direct attack on God and believers all across America, and deeply offended by her statement. And what just happened here in New Zealand is yet another example of the demonstration of thin veneer of a civilization where they take for granted the daily basis of a rapidly disappearing. And, you know, I mean, look, to think about this, she doesn't grasp or understand, because obviously she probably, if she was raised to believe in God, she definitely forfeited that for her so-called her slamming Christianity. She obviously doesn't think at all. I mean, that's all I can come up with here. She is like it says, moron. She doesn't have any understanding whatsoever of what it means to be a Christian. And really, I don't know. Lately, sometimes I have to say maybe I come off as a hypocrite sometimes. Yeah, I'll admit it. I can say it because I maybe name calling isn't really the answer here. Mainly because, I mean, what good does it do when, Mike said a couple of shows that, what point is name calling? Really, what is it? Because it doesn't really accomplish anything other than, in the Christian faith, I get convicted by this a lot of times. I do. I get convicted by this because I have a tendency to name call all these liberals who obviously don't have a sense to come in out of the rain. And I gotta say it that way because they don't have a grasp or understanding of what it means to be a Christian, and because they're blasting it. And you heard the last 7 days. You heard Bible study. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, of persecution of Christians. And I'm sure she's going to lead the pack when it comes to that, because she just doesn't get it. Obviously, you could tell by her statement. She doesn't get it. 28-year-old Australian man was charged with murder in this and remanded without plea until his next appearance in court April 5th. The two other people who shot or accomplices in that shooting remain in police custody. So that that's what we got here. But again, she's gonna blast the Christians. She's gonna continue to mock because she just doesn't get it. She doesn't have the understanding. And here's another story here. McCain, court files reveal a role of McCain's associate in spreading anti-Trump dossier. Well, let me see what this story's about here real quickly. Let's see what we got here on this one coming up. And then if we don't get hear from Ben in this hour, we're going to do the Don't Call Us, We'll Call You segment here. Newly revealing the court filings show now that the late Senator John McCain of Arizona and associate shared FBI. Let's see what we got here. I want to see what... This is from Fox. I don't know. It just, that whole darn blasted story is confusing anyhow. I really don't get that. But the newly sealed court filings are showing that Senator John McCain of Arizona, which didn't give me a chance to finish that sentence before they started, associated shared it with the FBI and a host of media outlets an unverified dossier that alleges that the Russians had compromising information on the now President Trump. And McCain denied being a source of the BuzzFeed after it published the dossier, which was funded by the Democratic National Committee, or as I like to call it, the Democrat National Communist. That's what I call it sometimes. Anyway, the Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, but he acknowledged giving it to the FBI. A newly sealed declaration of the September, let's try it again, a newly unsealed declaration from September, former senior counterintelligence FBI agent Freestep confirmed that the FBI received a copy of the first 33 pages of the dossier in September of 2016 from McCain. In another filing, David Kramer, former State Department official and McCain's associate, said December 13, 2007, the deposition of the dossier was given to him by author and former British spy Christopher Steele. And he then provided the multiple journalists, the outlets including CNN, BuzzFeed, and Washington Post, the details that were first reported by the Daily Caller. The filings were then unsealed as part of an ongoing libel case against BuzzFeed by the Russian businessman. So, I mean, really gets crazy. The whole bit, this whole thing is just, I don't know. I think it, like I said before, I think it's a blatant plug by the Democrats to throw Trump out, and it's all because of power. Okay, these Democrats right now are power hungry, and they want every chance they get to throw this man out so they can get their people in the president's office. Okay, it's going to be an interesting election, and I quite frankly, I think seriously about registering to vote, because I thought I was registered last time. I don't know. I really don't know, because I really would like to make sure that no Democrat gets in office in the presidency for the next term. Really do. I quite frankly think that they're the ones that are screwing up this country royally. And, really, it's like I said before, you listen to the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance says, "To the republic for which it stands." This is a republic. It's not Democrat. It's a republic. Okay? And basically, there are just things that, people have to realize that, we have our freedom. I'm having trouble giving up the freedoms that the men fought for and died for in all their wars. That's just it. Why should we give up these freedoms that were fought for? Were these guys, all these guys, like all our troops that died in vain to keep our freedoms? Is that what it is? They die in vain? We need to fight to keep this country intact. And we have a president right now who's doing that. And they're condemning him for doing that. And quite frankly, it's starting to irritate me to no end. Coming up, we have for you some more stuff from our GJRB rundown. We got some more. We have weather on the 5s. We're going to take a look at Weather Nation, which I think I'm going to pop in there and make sure we get that turned on. Weather Nation. Now I got it so that I can operate my Roku box through my universal remote control. It's kind of neat. And I can pull up Weather Nation without having to go to the other remote control, because the other remote control, I'm running out of batteries. So, and what's happening is I had to take one battery out of one remote control so I can operate something else. It gets crazy around here. Anyhow, we're going to take a look at weather on the 5s here in a couple of minutes, and let's turn that on, flip that over into. Then I have to flip the other board over to pick up the weather through my sound system. And get ready, because right now it's time for Weather on the 5s. Here is Weather Nation. Oops, forgot one thing. Forgot to plug it in. Okay. Still not getting it. I know a VCR is not on. Oh boy. Okay, I tell you what we're going to do. I'm trying to get this to turn on. Okay, still not getting any audio. So something's wrong somewhere. I'm not getting any audio coming off of. Oh, I know why. I got to turn the other board on. There we go. All right, here we go. Weather Nation right now talking about the flooding going on in the Midwest. A lot of flooding going on. This is in Fremont. This is in, excuse me, during the Northeast. This is let's listen to Weather Nation.
All of the folks just doing everything they can.
You know, there's people that have lost their house, and they're volunteering. They're sandbagging. They're even out helping other people move out of their homes. It's the neighborhood. Everybody helps each other. And, you know, kind of, I hate to say it, but, you know, it's what people do in Nebraska. They make a difference. We're always giving to so many other places, other states, other disasters, but, you know, we're taking care of ourselves. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be really hurt because they've lost everything in this flood. You know, so it's going to be something that 2 or 3 weeks from now to see what's going to happen with this. But right now, the volunteers, there's 400 or 500 volunteers that are bagging sandbags just to try and put up a berm to stop this rushing flow of water into town. It's hard to fathom the power that this water has and the force that it can just bend and go through anything in its way.
It is going to find the path of least resistance for sure. You've also had a chance to talk to people who have lost everything. As we start to watch the Elkhorn, the Platte, and the Missouri in this area continue to rise, are there other communities that are thinking, hey, you know what, maybe we should start to evacuate, maybe we should start to do what we can to get to safety?
Yes. From Omaha, you know, the one thing I want to bring up, too, is that we've lost some of the main bridges around here. Now, this is the transportation route, and when you start losing bridges, it funnels everything into the other bridges, you know, and other access points. But this water is going on down into some of the smaller communities, Louisville, Plattsmouth, and even down in Nebraska City as we get on the Missouri River. All this is going to flow in. You know, from Claremont to Niobrara, we had a dam that broke up there. That's all going to flow in. And it's just for people on downstream, and even down when you get to Kansas City, that could take another week. All this is going to roll right on down, and there's so much more water that's backed up behind this. This is up Columbus, Norfolk, where they've had torrential rains. The ground was frozen, so all this water is not going to seep into anything. It's going to run off. So all the snow melt from 50, 60-degree weather, all this is going to produce so much more water that's coming in right behind it in this area. So it's possible to have floodwater here for another 3-4 more days. And then this is going to all go down, trickle down on into the other states on downstream.
John, we are so grateful to have your perspective from the ground. Please let everyone in Nebraska and across the river in Iowa, let them know that we are thinking about them, that we want to get their story out. And anybody across the country, especially in disaster situations like this, help your neighbors, whether it's the one across the street or the one 2 states away. We're in situations like this sometimes all each other have. We'll check in more with John as he reports from Fremont, Nebraska, just outside of Omaha. We have a few scattered showers in the region today, Joe, but some heavier rain elsewhere, too.
Indeed. Luckily, it is dry in Fremont, Nebraska. That won't stop the floodwaters, unfortunately, but at least we have some drier weather going for us at the moment. And again, you can see Fremont there just to the north and west of Omaha. We do see a few rain showers across areas of Iowa and a few snow flurries east of Sioux Falls along I-90 in southwestern Minnesota. That won't amount to a whole lot. Could see the system swing its way a little bit further to the east heading into tomorrow. And speaking of areas a little bit further to the east, we do have some lake effect snow showers impacting areas from, let's say, Michigan into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State. We're seeing a few flurries in and around Cleveland and Detroit. A few raindrops mixing in there. Same story down towards Pittsburgh, over towards State College in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and mainly snow, the variety here from Buffalo to Rochester, Syracuse to Albany along I-90 and the New York State Thruway. We are seeing a few flurries up into Maine and a bit further to the south. Well, we do have some rain showers. That's keeping things a little damp, a little gloomy, especially for areas into Florida and Georgia. You are seeing some of that rain across the Panhandle up into southeast Georgia. Spotty rain and thunderstorms. Slow moving here across the Sunshine State from Tampa, some down to the west of Miami. we are seeing a little bit off towards North Carolina as well. And of course, our last stop, the Southwest, we do see a little bit of rain and some snow out there as well. We'll have more coming up on the forecast for these areas, including a look at Chicago, dyeing the river green there for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's the annual dyeing the river green. They do that every year, and it's always fair. I was down in Chicago when they did that, and it's fascinating to no end. If you've ever been down in Chicago to watch the Chicago River turn green, it's absolutely amazing. We'll have a look at that and some national weather and national temperatures coming up again next half hour. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 minutes past the hour here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. Gary J. Russen with you on board. We're doing 50 minutes of nonstop talk right here on GJRB Online. So stay with me. I've got some more stuff coming up and this next half hour, including seeing we can get a hold of Ben Ostman because it's now 4:30 and haven't heard from him yet. Well, a late happy birthday should really go out though to a local guy here in the Quad Cities area, and so we're gonna do a happy birthday again. A big happy birthday goes out to Don Wooten. Now he turns 90 today. He's been on the air as usual at 10 to noon and again at 9. And he does classical music. He does jazz, mostly jazz on the weekends, and various things on WVIK, the NPR station here in the Quad Cities. Absolutely fabulous. This guy has a great knowledge of jazz. Really does a good program here on our NPR station. Absolutely fabulous jazz, and listen to him on Saturday nights. He's really good with the jazz. He is absolutely fabulous. Tune in to him. I think tonight I believe he'll be on doing some jazz tonight. WVIK for people listening in this area. That's 90.3, and I believe you can also get it on. They do stream online on TuneIn. You're listening to the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and we're kind of rolling with just kind of flying here at the seat of, just flying here in my, just nothing scheduled, just flying at the seat of my pants, so to speak. Just do whatever. And that's what we're doing today here on GJRB Online. Just reading postings from other folks. And we're going to visit the Twitter pretty soon. We'll do our Twitter here on GJRB Online and do that page and see what other interesting news stories we have coming up. And then we'll take another musical break because I got another Bobby Sherman song we're going to play for you. So we're going to do that. And get ready for the Don't Call Us, We'll Call You thing and try to get a hold of Ben. So we're going to do that. Why don't we just go ahead and throw a song in, take a break. You're listening to the Gary Russen program Saturday Extra on GJRB Online. From my Dusty 45 collection, because I had this record on the 45, Bobby Sherman, Little Woman. Here you go. Great classic there by Bobby Sherman on GJRB Online, and a great classic there for you here on Spreaker Across America. Gary J. Russen with you here on Across America, here on GJRB Online, as we're doing 50 minutes of nonstop talking fun here on Spreaker. Yeah, and that means it's time now for my favorite segment of the Gary Russen program, where if they don't call us, we'll call them. And Sugarloaf. Yep, that means we're going to get a hold of Ben here and see if he's around. Because next week, we're doing oldies. And we won't be doing talk radio next week. So I'm going to see if we can get a hold of Ben once again, because if we don't, we're just going to say that's the end, folks. We're just going to start thinking about seeing if maybe perhaps we will try something else here along the line. We have Ben ringing right now here on GJRB Online. Ben Osan from Pittsburgh, as we're rolling in here to see if maybe perhaps we could get something on him here. Don't know where he's at. He was supposed to, he said if he was not going to be on today, he was going to leave me a message on there, and I have not seen anything in regards to that, so I'm kind of ringing him now, hoping maybe perhaps we get a response. And so far we had about 6 rings and no Ben. So next week we're doing the Good Times Great Oldies show, 50s, 60s, 70s rock and roll next week. And we're going to do the top 20 hits from this week in 1972. Actually, next week in 1972. So that would probably be, I don't know, let me kind of go into I'm going to kind of dig back to the decades here and crank it back to 1972 and see what the following week was as far as that's concerned. So I'm going to pull back here and go into the 70s, 1970s. 1972 March. Okay, let's see what we got here. That would be the weekend. That would be the week ending March 24th, 1972. So we're going to do that week. Let's see. I'm hoping we get on the for that next week, because that would be let's see, March 24th of this year. If we go out of that and come back in, will tell me what that is. March 24th of 2019 has us at Sunday. Okay, so next week we're doing the Oldies Weekend on the 22nd and 23rd. So that's about right. That'll be the day before, because the following will be the 24th. That's Sunday. So we're going to do the week ending March 24th, 1972. Next Saturday on the Good Times Great Oldie show. So I hope you'll tune in for that show. That'll be live till next Saturday right here on GJRB Online. And I'm going to be doing some of the stuff for that. And we played a couple of them. We played one last week from 1972. And so we'll kind of dig out something a little later on and play something from that week as a preview. So tune in for that next Saturday at 3 o'clock Central right here on GJRB Online network for the Good Times Great Oldies show. And we're going to do 1972. So that's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that. The final week of 1972. I think that would be the final week, or is it? No, wouldn't be the final week. I think it would be the next to the final week. But the March 24th, 1972, that'll be coming up on the next edition of the Good Times Great Oldie Show next week. Next Saturday, next weekend here on GJRB Online, the Golden Weekend. I'll start on Friday with our Good Times Great Oldies show, and that's mainly request. I'm going to be posting that all over the internet and hoping maybe perhaps we will have something there. Meanwhile, let's see. Fast checking CNN. This is from Breitbart. Fact check. CNN is lying to the American people. Duh. That's no surprise. Reporting that many lines of the past several weeks that President Donald Trump called neo-Nazi very fine people in the wake of riots in Charlottesville, Virginia in August of 2017. Even though in its own report at the time disproves that claim. Okay. Interesting. Let's go down the ways a little bit.